Formula One has seen some very intense rivalry over the years in many different eras between champions. But in recent years, we have not seen a rivalry that has been this well documented between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen, and even between Mercedes and Red Bull. With the way that the sport is as big as it has ever been, there is more spotlight than ever on this battle between two great drivers in Hamilton and Verstappen. 2021 was a year full of drama between the pair, as we all know by now, but as Hamilton has not had the car that Verstappen has had, they have not been fighting as they did in that year. But we have seen some action on the track. The two obviously do not like each other for everything that has happened in 2021, and the crashes that have happened on several occasions, and there are some tension that we have seen so far in 2023. In today's video, we will touch upon the tension between the pair that happened in Australia, how we could maybe see the two battle for a championship in the very near future, and finally, how good has this rivalry been? Let's get right into it, shall we? To start off with, we are of course going to touch upon about what happened in Australia regarding the overtake that Hamilton did on Verstappen on the first lap of the very hectic race. Mercedes surprised everyone, including themselves, and qualified P2 and P3 just behind Verstappen, and they looked a lot better than they did in the previous two races. Many thought that Verstappen would take the lead early on and then race off into the sunset and win the race by 20 plus seconds. However, this would not be the case at all, and Russell would take the lead going into turn 1, which meant that Verstappen was at risk from Hamilton, who would have a good run on him going into turn 3. Hamilton would get the move done due to Verstappen looking to cover the outside where Alonso was trying to get past, which meant that a gap opened up down the inside where Hamilton went and got the move done on the championship leader into turn 3. Hamilton would push Verstappen outside the track and the white line, which meant that Verstappen was off track if you look at the rulebook. However, many fans and pundits believe that the move was fair and it was simply hard racing, which is always the case when these two drivers get close on the track. Verstappen did not lose a position to any drivers behind him and stayed in P3, whilst Hamilton moved up into P2. But Max, after the race, showed his frustration at Lewis and also the FIA for not punishing by saying, "It's quite clear the rule, what is allowed to do, what you're allowed to do now on the outside, but clearly that's not followed." But that's okay, we had a good pace and passed him anyway. But it's something for the next race, just to take into account. From this, we can see that Max is more annoyed at the FIA than anything, because it doesn't matter to him, as he still took home the win ahead of Lewis. But if he did not, and Lewis had stayed ahead of him the whole race, he would be much more annoyed, that is for certain. All Max wants is consistency, and we have not seen that from the FIA last season, but also so far this season, as certain things have not been policed the same way as others. An example of this is Sainz got a penalty for taking Alonso out, but Logan Sargent did not get a penalty for taking out De Vries at the same corner in the same race. Max is taking his anger at Lewis a bit, yes, as he was the one who made the move, but he's also wanting the FIA to pretty much do their job properly and do the same for everyone else. Lewis, on the other hand, had some words to say about Max and the move that he made by saying, "I was fully up on the inside. I think both of us left space for each other. I didn't run him off the road and he didn't turn into me. So we didn't touch, and that's racing." Depending on if you are biased towards a certain side, you will either go with what Hamilton said or what Verstappen said. They're not going to agree on the move, as one driver went past the other, but they both raise good points on the move. Hamilton here is saying what he did happened as he was fully up on the inside and had the move done. And yes, Max was not fully on the track, but if they get punished, then what has racing become? Battles that we have seen between drivers in the past, like Mika Häkkinen and Michael Schumacher, show that hard but fair racing is the best for the drivers as well as the fans too. If this move from Hamilton was punished, it could be the death of the sport we all love, as the racing will become boring and it will just be about DRS overtakes down the main straight. It is clear that both of these drivers are not the best of friends, to say the least, and if there is any action on the track between the two of them, want to win more than beating any other driver on the grid. But what are your thoughts on the tension created by this move on Hamilton? Do you agree with Max and believe that Lewis should have been given a penalty? Or was it a fair move in your eyes? Was it a case of hard racing between two rivals? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Moving on to our next topic, which is that how we could possibly see Hamilton and Verstappen fight out for the championship in the very near future. Ever since the new regulations came in at the start of the 2022 season, Red Bull has dominated whilst Mercedes have been struggling with the car. Verstappen has been on top of his game, winning countless races and breaking records that many thought would never be broken, such as the most wins in a single season. But even though many fans think that Hamilton may retire due to not being in the fight, but also due to his age, as he is not getting any younger, but older as he gets in close to being 40. However, Hamilton looks more motivated than ever, with him putting in the hours in the simulator, but also staying late at night at the track to find where the team can make improvements as they look to challenge for a championship in the very near future. Hamilton also said that he will not retire until he gets his deserved 8th World Championship, and he looks like he will not be stopping anytime soon. Mercedes know how to win, and they will be back sooner rather than later, and it is possible that in 2024 it could be a Red Bull and Mercedes fight for the championship. The only other team that possibly looks like they could challenge Red Bull is Aston Martin. But they could drop off as they have not been at the top like Mercedes has been for so long. I think for a lot of fans, they will look forward to the possibility of the two teams having a second title fight as we saw in 2021. The ball is in Mercedes' court, and they have to build the right car for them to fight Red Bull, and we will have to find out in the coming seasons. To end off with, we are going to talk about how good of a rivalry it has been between Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. 2021 had moments that many fans will not forget, with massive flashpoints like in Silverstone and Monza, where the two came too close on track. Yes, it was very ugly sometimes, such in Saudi Arabia and in Abu Dhabi of course, but the drama was so intense. We are sure you will all want to see it again. In the modern era, we've not had too many rivalries in recent years other than Hamilton and Rosberg in 2016. These battles and rivalries are just rare due to two teams just not being as close as they used to be. For a lot of older fans, they would think about Senna and Prost as being the best, but in today's sport, with so many new fans entering the sport every day, many people think that the 2021 season was a once in a lifetime, and this rivalry is one of the best ever. Do you think that? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video, and make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this one.